Welcome to Lesson 6 of Hebrew words in Scripture. I hope you've been practicing your alphabet and saying the letters so you'll familiarize yourself with the sounds. I hope you're like me. You listen to a news report or whatever, and you find that you see Hebrew letters in the background. And so I see Hebrew letters all the time, all over the place. Sometimes I even know what the word means. We're going to learn here tonight uh, that each letter has a specific meaning, a shape, a sound, and numerical value. We're going to find that words are built up of 2 and 3 letter root words, and we're going to call these primitive. We find these as a primitive root. We'll want to go down to the definition of the primitive root. We'll find that by adding or inserting other letters, we'll determine whether it's a plural or determine the gender, whether it's a definite or the indefinite article, whether it's in the verb use and what tense of the verb that's being used in. This is all very complex, but it is possible to figure out. And so we're in just a moment, we're going to start at the beginning. I've got a few little alphabet hints that I want to give to you, and then we will start looking at some actual Hebrew words and in Scripture. So, in the second or third lesson, I talked about Bet having a little tail to the left, but actually, as you obviously know, the tail goes to the right. So that's a minor correction, but maybe you have already figured that out. Here's a thing that might help you. The letters Zion and Ayin sound exactly the same. This is a Z sound, and this is a silent sound or even an I sound. But Ayin, easy to remember. The meaning of this letter is I, E-Y-E. It is the vision sensor. And so it's easy to remember that I, your eyeball, is the ayin, and Zion sounds very similar. So that's just a little helpful hint. Well, I said we would start at the beginning, and quite literally, we are at the beginning in the book of Genesis. This is called a Hebrew English interlinear scripture. The Hebrew is at the top, and below it is the English. You'll find that down here we have the Hebrew word at the top and the English word below it. Sometimes there's more than one word, like in the beginning. Over here is represented by one Hebrew word. The first word that we can read here is Bet, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yot, Tav. So if we say the letters B, R, A, Sh, E, T, or Th, This is Bereshit. Bereshit. Bereshit, which means literally in the beginning. And the English translators would translate this as Genesis. Let's look at these first two words. These are the first three words in the Hebrew Bible. The first one is, we've already seen it, is Bereshit, means in the beginning. And the next word is created, bara. And I want you to notice right off the bat that we see bet resh. This is a primitive root. The br sound, ber, is a primitive root, and it has to do with generation, productivity, even creation, as this word is indicated as created. And a lot of words will spin off of this. There is a word that is just br, and in English we would say, we would say the English form of the Hebrew bar mitzvah. The bar is the English way of saying the br, and so in the Hebrew it would be just simply ber, or and we can use bar. I can anglicize the Hebrew a little bit. It doesn't seem to bother. But when we talk about the bar mitzvah, it means the son. Bar means son. We have that in Bartholomew or Barabbas. So the word bar means son. Here it is the idea of generation or creation. And so we see Bereshit, that is the initiation or the beginning. Bereshit, bara. And the last word here is a very common word that'll appear a lot in the Hebrew book, Hebrew text. This is Aleph, Lamed, He, Yod, Mem. And so if we were to say this, the letters would be A, La, A, L, He, I, M. Elohim, Elohim. And this is the way in English we would say Elohim. That's the way we see it. But Elohim is the Hebrew pronunciation. So this means God.